Hello, luxury agents. Today we're going to talk about working harder or working smarter. Now, I know the market's picked up in a lot of locations across the country. It's heading this way as well. At the same time, there's nothing easy about this market, and most of us find ourselves working harder than we ever have before. No one says it's easy right now. But it's also important for us to remember the concept of working smarter as well as harder. I remember reading a story one time. I read it on the internet, I think, about a guy sitting in his office, and he's sitting by a window, and he's interrupted by the sound of a fly just crashing against the window. Crash, just making this really loud buzzing sound, and you could hear the thud each time the fly crashed into the window. On the other side of the window was the outdoor scenery, and the fly was determined to get out there, and that fly was working really, really hard, banging his little fly head against the window, beating his little fly wings as hard as he could, just working really hard. Now the guy turned in his chair a little bit, and he looked across the other side of the room, and he saw another window that was actually open, and he saw a pretty good sized tear in the screen. If the fly had been working smarter rather than harder, he might have flown over to the other window and made his way out through the tear in the screen. So the moral of this story is that, yeah, working harder is great, and maybe you feel good while you're doing it, but it's not always the right answer, because if you think and take the time to work smarter, as you're working hard, you can sometimes find solutions. The fly wound up, of course, dead, upside down, feet in the air on the windowsill. And we certainly don't want to find ourselves in that same predicament. So we need to learn how we can work smarter and not harder, or work smart and hard at the same time. In the next couple of videos, I'm going to talk about a concept each time about what we can do to be a little bit smarter as we execute our daily activities in the pursuit of luxury real estate success. And the first thing I want to suggest you do is to work on your ratios. And maybe you could send me an email or just be thinking about them as to how many people are in your sphere of influence, how many of those are past clients, how many of those would you consider A sphere people, in other words, people who are likely to refer, buy or sell at you in the next 30 or 60 days. And how many transactions did you do last year as a result of your sphere? What is the ratio of people in your sphere to actual transactions you have done? I've heard numbers all the way from 10 to 1 to 20 to 1. And it doesn't really matter what the right answer is for you. It could be 30 to 1 for that, all that matters. The important thing is, what is the ratio? Because if you want to do 10 deals a year and you're doing 30 people for one transaction, that means you need 300 people in your sphere. That's all that means. But you can't know what you need until you know your numbers. So spend the next few days until we get together again, looking at your numbers. How many people in your sphere? How often do you contact them? How many transactions do you get as a result of your sphere? What's the average transaction size for people who do deals with you from your sphere? And so on and so forth. Start to build a little database of information here that we can take to the next level where we discuss this next week, the whole concept of working smarter, not harder. Don't forget, if you bought my book, you're entitled to a free 20-minute phone consultation with me. These are lots of fun. Even though everyone asked pretty much the same question, you never know, I might get something new and have some new people who have just emailed me saying that their questionnaires are on the way, so we can schedule our phone conversations. So you can go to jackcotton.com to order my book. And once again, make it a great week. I look forward to talking to you next time. Thank you.